I caught her cheating. But what happened next? Burned my heart and ignited desire. I catch the faint scent of coffee and perfume as I push open the office door, the fluorescent lights buzzing softly above me. My chest tightens, not from the morning rush, but because I see him before I see anything else. Him, my coworker, my supposed friend, and then her. She's laughing, loud, careless, too familiar. That laugh belongs to me, or it used to. My throat tightens. My hands curl into fists at my sides, knuckles whitening. I freeze mid-step, every muscle screaming to turn and run. But I can't. Not yet. I watch, heart hammering in my ears, as their hands brush, by accident, lingering just a second too long. That second feels like hours. My mind staggers between disbelief and fury, every rational thought replaced by a raw, scorching awareness that my world, everything I thought I knew, has shifted. I swallow hard. My heartbeat is a drum in my chest as I step back into the hallway, my shadow stretching long on the tile floor. My mind flashes back, those late-night dinners, the casual touches, the whispered I love yous. All lies. Or maybe she believed them too, at least until him. I feel the urge to scream. I fight it. Instead, I turn and walk away. Each step is heavy, dragging my confidence behind me like a shadow I can't quite shake. I hear footsteps behind me, rapid, uneven, and then a soft, breathy, "Wait." I don't turn. Not yet. My throat is raw from holding back words I don't want to say, from wanting to curse, plead, and demand answers all at once. "Please," she says, closer now. I can feel the warmth behind me, the familiar brush of her perfume like a knife twisting. "Can we talk?" I inhale sharply, tasting the bitter tang of betrayal. "Talk?" I echo, voice low. "About what? How you've been lying to me? How easily you replace me?" She flinches, just slightly, and I see it. A flicker of shame, of something unspoken. But the deflection comes fast. "It wasn't like that." Save it," I cut her off, spinning to face her. My chest heaves, my eyes glistening with a mixture of fury and hurt. "You don't get to explain." Her eyes search mine, hesitant, almost desperate. And in that look, I see traces of the girl I fell for. I see the warmth, the laughter, the whispered confessions late at night. But it's buried under layers of deceit, under the weight of choices that can't be undone. She reaches for my hand, just a fraction of an inch, and I step back instinctively. My pulse races, not with desire, but with the sting of a love that's fractured. "Don't," I whisper. "Just don't." The silence stretches, thick and suffocating. I feel the world tilt slightly, the air around us charged, like the calm before a storm. My chest aches with a longing I can't name, half mourning, half disbelief. Finally, I turn and walk away, my steps echoing in the empty hallway. Each footfall is deliberate, a small victory over the chaos inside me. But as I pass the break room, I catch his reflection in the glass. His eyes flicker to mine, sharp, unrepentant, daring. I swallow again, bitter and sharp. My fingers tighten around the straps of my bag. "I'll deal with you later," I murmur, voice low and dangerous. And somewhere deep inside, beneath the hurt and fury, I feel it. A spark, a magnetic pull I can't explain. Not now, not yet. But I know it's there, like a whisper, promising. A reckoning I can't ignore. The office fades behind me, the fluorescent lights replaced by the dim glow of early evening. I step outside, inhale the cool air, and let the city swallow me. And as I walk, I realize this is only the beginning. The betrayal is raw, the wound deep, but I will rise, and the story isn't over yet. The office is quieter now, the hum of computers and printers a constant backdrop. I keep my distance, a careful observer, navigating shared spaces like a ghost. Every time our paths cross, her laughter in the hallway, his smirk in the break. Room. I feel the tension coil inside me tight as steel. Lunch breaks are the hardest. I sit with my back to the wall, eyes scanning, senses hyper-aware. And then, inevitably, D, the coworker, slides into the seat across from me, leaning in slightly, a challenge in his gaze. I don't flinch. I can't. Not in front of him. "You're avoiding me," he says. Casual, but there's an edge there that makes my stomach knot. I lift an eyebrow, sip my coffee slowly, letting the silence stretch between us. "I'm not avoiding you," I reply, voice even. But my pulse betrays me, fast, erratic. My fingers drum against the table, too aware of his presence. He leans back, smirk curling on his lips. "Right, sure, just like you're not avoiding her?" Something in me snaps. Anger, hurt, maybe a combination of both. "You like her?" I ask, voice quiet, dangerous. He shrugs, unconcerned. "Yeah, so what?" I stare at him, heartbeat loud in my ears. I want to scream, to punch him, to shove every ounce of betrayal back into him. But I don't. I breathe, slow and deliberate, forcing myself to maintain the mask of composure, and yet, the tension between us is electric. Every glance, every small movement carries weight. I feel it in my chest, a pull I don't want, a recognition that there's something dangerous simmering beneath this chaos. Later, the office empties. She's gone. D lingers. He approaches my desk, leaning close under the guise of a work question. My skin prickles where his shoulder brushes mine. The air feels thicker, charged. "You know," he murmurs, almost conspiratorial, "things could be different." I freeze. My mind races. Every rational thought screams, "Walk away, don't engage." But my heart betrays me. I feel it hammering, betraying the raw ache of longing buried beneath betrayal. "I don't want different," I whisper, careful not to let him hear the tremor. "I want the truth. And the truth is, you crossed a line. You both did." His gaze holds mine, challenging, teasing, dangerous. There's a moment, just a heartbeat, where I almost falter, almost reach across the invisible boundary he's created. But a sharp sound, a dropped pen, a voice calling from the hallway, pulls us back. Reality intrudes, the spell breaks. He smirks, stepping back. "For now," he murmurs, leaving the tension dangling like a thread we both know could. Snap. I sit back in my chair, breath shallow, pulse racing. My mind is a whirlwind of emotion, anger, betrayal, frustration, and an undeniable, frustrating pull toward him that I can't explain, can't admit, can't act on. Outside, the sun dips below the skyline. Shadows stretch across my desk, and I realize this is only going to get harder. Every encounter, every glance, every accidental touch is a test, one I don't know I'm ready to pass. The evening air is cool as I step out of the office, my coat pulled tight around me. The sky is a bruised purple, the kind of color that makes everything feel heightened, almost cinematic. I'm halfway to the subway when I hear the sound, a familiar, hesitant call of my name. I turn, and there he is. D, my coworker, standing a few feet away, hands shoved into his pockets, the streetlight catching the sharp lines of his face. The city hums around us, distant traffic, murmurs of people walking past, but somehow it feels like the world has narrowed to just this moment, just us. "You forgot something," he says softly. His voice isn't teasing tonight. It's quiet, vulnerable almost. I arch a brow, uncertain. "I don't think so," I reply, keeping my tone neutral. My chest is tight, pulse a drum I can't control. He takes a small step closer, eyes flickering away, then back. "Maybe I did," he murmurs, "but I didn't want to let it go without saying something." I feel the weight of that hesitation, the tremor beneath the calm facade. Something inside me shifts. I want to run, to turn, to retreat into the safety of anger and distance. And yet, I don't. "You shouldn't be here," I say, but my voice is softer than I intend. "Maybe I shouldn't," he admits, and then the streetlight catches the corner of a half smile, fleeting and hesitant, as if he's daring me to respond. "But I need to be honest. I can't keep pretending. Not with you. Not like this." I swallow hard. My chest is tight. My thoughts spin, reckless and chaotic. Betrayal, hurt, frustration, they're still there, raw, but beneath it something unexpected stirs, a pull, undeniable, magnetic. My stomach tightens. My hands itch to reach for something, anything, to anchor myself. "You shouldn't," I whisper again, more to myself than to him. This, it's complicated." He steps closer, closer than I expect. My breath catches. The faint scent of him, cologne, soap, something uniquely him, hits me, warm and grounding. I try to focus, try to remind myself of the betrayal, of why I should walk away, but the heat in his gaze, the tension in the air, it's intoxicating. "I know," he says, voice low, almost a murmur. "And I'm not asking for forgiveness. Not yet. I can't stop thinking about you, about us. Even after everything, I can't." My chest tightens, heart hammering in ways I can't name. His words are dangerous, but the vulnerability in them, it cuts through the anger. My fingers twitch, itching to reach out, to touch, to feel something real between us. I take a tentative step forward, despite every rational thought screaming at me to retreat. My pulse races, the city sounds fading into background static. You can't just say that," I murmur, my voice shaking slightly. You've hurt me." "I know," he interrupts, voice rough, a flicker of shame flashing in his eyes. "And I'll regret it for a long time. But what I feel, it's real, and I don't want to hide it anymore." There's a pause, a fragile, suspended moment where everything feels suspended, air thick, heartbeats loud, breaths shallow. He's close now, too close, and yet I don't step back. His hand hovers near mine, fingers almost brushing, but not quite. That near touch makes the world shiver. My pulse spikes, and for a moment, all I feel is the magnetic pull between us, the impossible tension, the undeniable spark that refuses to die. I don't know if I can do this," I confess, voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know if I can trust anyone right now." He nods slowly, leaning just a fraction closer, enough that I can feel the warmth radiating off him. "Then don't," he murmurs. "Just let me be here. Let me try." The word try hangs in the air, fragile but charged with possibility. My fingers brush his, almost deliberately, a whisper of contact that ignites everything beneath the surface. The simple connection sends a shiver through me, heart threatening to break open with every unspoken confession we both feel but cannot yet say aloud. And then, just as the world narrows to the sound of our breathing, the brush of our hands, the heat of unspoken desire, my phone buzzes violently in my pocket, a harsh, sudden reminder of reality. I step back, breaking the spell, the near touch slipping away like smoke through my fingers. I have to go," I mutter, voice tight. He watches me, eyes dark, intense, unflinching. "Go," he says, softly. "But remember this moment. Just remember it." I nod, unable to speak, heart hammering, pulse roaring in my ears. As I walk away, the city lights blur around me, the hum of the street somehow distant, unreal. Every step feels heavy with longing, every breath tinged with something dangerous, thrilling, and new, and I know this is only the beginning, because tonight, something shifted, something that cannot be undone. And despite everything, despite the pain, I realize, whatever happens next, I will not forget him, not now, not ever. The office is quiet, but not silent. There's a hum in the air. The low, constant buzz of fluorescent lights, the distant murmur of keyboards, and the faint shuffle of papers. I'm at my desk, pretending to focus, but every instinct is alert. I know he's here somewhere nearby, and the tension between us is a live wire. Then I feel it. His presence. The subtle shift in air as he approaches, that slow, deliberate stride that makes my pulse spike. I glance up and meet his eyes, dark and unreadable. And for a moment, the world narrows until it's just us. Every ounce of composure I've fought to maintain evaporates. He leans against the edge of my desk, close enough that I feel the warmth radiating off him. Far too close to be just work proximity. My stomach tightens, breath catching. I tell myself to look away, to remember the betrayal, the hurt, the reasons I should be furious, but I can't. Not when the look in his eyes is this intense, this charged. "You're avoiding me again," he says softly, voice low and intimate, threading through the hum of the office like a whisper only I can hear. "I'm not," I murmur, though my chest tightens with every word. My fingers fidget with the pen in my hand, my heartbeat thundering. He doesn't move, just leans closer, and I feel it, the magnetic pull I can't resist, the dangerous, thrilling energy crackling between us. "Yes, you are," he murmurs. "And I think you like it. This tension, this unsaid thing between us." My throat goes dry. I inhale sharply, tasting something bitter and sweet at once. I don't," I whisper, though my voice betrays me. My gaze drops to his hand, inches from mine, almost touching. The near contact sends a shiver down my spine, igniting a storm I can't control. He smirks, slow and deliberate. "You do. Admit it," he says, and there's no accusation in his tone, only the magnetic pull of something inevitable, something we've both been avoiding. I shake my head, even as my heart races like a drumbeat. "I can't," I breathe. "I shouldn't. Not after everything." "But you want to," he says softly, leaning closer. The warmth of him, the scent of him, the subtle brush of his sleeve against mine. It's unbearable. My breath hitches. My pulse pounds so loudly I can hear it in my ears. The air between us feels thick, charged, alive. He rests a hand lightly on my desk, so close I can feel the heat radiating from it. "Look at me," he says, voice low and commanding. I lift my eyes, meeting his, and the restraint shatters. I see him, the raw honesty, the unspoken longing, the vulnerability he usually hides behind a smirk. I don't know if I can do this," I whisper. My chest aches. My fingers twitch, itching to touch him, to bridge the impossible gap between us. "You can," he murmurs, leaning closer until the space between us is nothing. His hand brushes mine, soft, tentative, electric. The spark ignites a fire I've been denying, a mix of desire, frustration, and longing that takes my breath away. Time slows. The office fades into shadows, the hum of the computers, the distant voices, the fluorescent lights. They're all gone. There's only this, only us. The pull is magnetic, dangerous, impossible to resist. Then, almost without realizing, our fingers entwine, slowly, deliberately. My heart leaps, my chest tightens. I can feel the vulnerability, the trust, the risk, all in this simple connection. And I don't pull away. Not yet. I shouldn't. I whisper again, voice trembling. But my words falter. My defenses crumble, just slightly, just enough to let him in. He leans in, just a fraction closer, enough that I feel his breath on my skin, warm and intoxicating. "You don't have to fight it," he murmurs. "You don't have to pretend anymore. Not with me." My pulse hammers. My breath catches. The pull between us is unbearable, almost suffocating. For the first time, I let myself imagine what it would be like to trust him, to let him in completely, to surrender to the undeniable tension that has been simmering between us since that first betrayal. And then the reality hits. A sudden, jarring sound of footsteps approaching, a colleague rounding the corner. We break apart instantly, hearts racing, breaths shallow, the spell broken. My fingers still tingle where his brushed mine, and the heat lingers long after the moment passes. He steps back, smirk returning. But there's a softness behind it, a promise in the dark intensity of his gaze. "This isn't over," he murmurs. "Not by a long shot." I nod, unable to speak. My chest feels tight, every nerve alive with longing and frustration. As I return to my work, pretending to focus, I can't shake the memory of that touch, that look, that near confession. The office is quiet again, but I know it won't stay that way. The tension between us is alive, raw, and impossible to ignore. Every glance, every accidental touch, every fleeting moment of proximity is a test, one we both know we're failing, and deep inside, beneath the fear and the hurt, I realize the truth. Whatever happens next, there's no turning back. We've crossed a line, if only emotionally, and the consequences are both thrilling and terrifying. The pull between us is undeniable. The connection is dangerous, and I am powerless to resist. Because tonight, I've felt it. Truly felt it. And I know with every fiber of my being that the breaking point is coming, and when it hits, nothing will ever be the same again. The city hums beneath my feet as I step out of the subway, the evening air crisp and electric. There's a tension in my chest, tight and relentless, like the first note of a song that refuses to resolve. I know he's waiting. I can feel it. And I'm already trembling with anticipation, my pulse hammering like a drum. I reach the quiet street near the office, the lamplight casting long golden streaks across the pavement. And there he is, D, standing just beyond the glow, hands tucked into his pockets, posture relaxed but impossible to read. Our eyes meet, and in that instant, every ounce of restraint I've clung to shatters. "Hey," he murmurs, voice low, carrying that mix of confidence and vulnerability that always makes my chest seize. "Hey," I reply, voice barely more than a whisper, though it trembles with everything I feel but haven't yet admitted. He steps closer, the distance between us shrinking until it's almost unbearable. I can smell him, soap, a hint of cologne, warmth that makes my stomach twist and my skin tingle. My heart races. I want to run. I want to surrender. I want everything and nothing all at once. "I've been thinking," he says, voice husky, almost reverent, "about everything, about us, about what we've been ignoring." I swallow hard, nerves tight. "We shouldn't," I whisper, though the words are weak, empty against the storm roaring inside me. He shakes his head gently, eyes softening, almost pleading. "No, we've been pretending, dancing around it, denying it, but I can't anymore. Not you. Not this. I won't." His hand hovers, a breath away from mine. The air between us is charged, alive with longing. I don't pull away. I can't. My fingers ache to reach for him, to touch, to feel the connection we've been building, carefully, dangerously, over weeks of tension and stolen glances. Then, what do we do? I murmur, voice trembling. He smiles, slow, deliberate, like he's savoring the moment, and then finally, his hand brushes mine. Just a touch, light, tentative, but it ignites everything. My breath catches. My pulse races. The city noise fades into a soft hum, leaving only the electricity crackling between us. I think, he says, leaning just slightly closer. We stop pretending. We let this, whatever this is, exist, fully. No more hiding. The heat between us is unbearable. I feel it in my chest, my stomach, every nerve ending alive with anticipation. I take a shaky step closer, my fingers curling around his. The touch is firm now, grounding me, tethering me to something real, something urgent. I want this, I confess, voice low and trembling. I've wanted this for so long, even when I knew I shouldn't. His gaze softens, intense, raw, and I see it. The vulnerability he's carried behind bravado, the longing that mirrors my own. Me too, he whispers, every single day. The world narrows, the street, the lights, the hum of distant traffic, all irrelevant. There's only us. He leans closer, and I lean in, heart hammering, breath shallow until our foreheads touch. A laugh escapes me, shaky and incredulous, because after all the tension, the betrayal, the games, we're finally here, finally honest. You're real, I murmur, my voice breaking slightly. And I don't know how to— Shh, he interrupts softly, pressing his lips gently to mine. Not rushed, not desperate. Tender, deliberate, the kind of kiss that melts years of frustration and longing into something soft, electric, and consuming. My hands rise, resting lightly on his chest, feeling the steady thrum of his heartbeat beneath my fingers. His arms encircle me, and for the first time in weeks, I feel safe, grounded, seen. Every layer of pretense, every fear, every hurt, it all fades under the intensity of this moment. We break apart just slightly, foreheads still touching, breaths mingling. We can figure it out, he murmurs, voice low, a promise threaded in every word. I nod, feeling the warmth of tears I don't bother to fight. Yeah, I whisper. We can. Together. He smiles, a real unguarded smile, and I realize something profound. The betrayal, the tension, the near misses, they weren't the end. They were the storm that made this connection, this raw, undeniable bond even stronger. The city around, us hums again, lights glowing, cars passing, life moving. But in this moment, nothing else exists but the pull between us, the trust rebuilt in fragments, and the slow, delicious unfolding of something we both know could be extraordinary. We linger, there, hand in hand, letting the night hold us, letting the quiet settle over the chaos. I feel it in my chest, a deep, unshakable certainty that whatever comes next, we've crossed the line, yes, but the line has led us to something real. Finally, he whispers, brushing a strand of hair from my face. We'll take it slow, he promises. We'll heal, we'll be honest. But no more pretending, no more holding back. I nod, heart full, breath shaky, pulse racing, feeling the heat of hope, longing, and love wrapped into one perfect, impossible moment. No more pretending, I echo. And as the night stretches around us, warm and electric, I realize this is where it begins. Not just the romance, not just the longing, but the real, raw connection forged through chaos and tension and honesty. And I can feel it. This is the start of something neither of us will ever forget. We walk into the night together, side by side, hearts aligned, the promise of possibility blazing between us like a quiet, unrelenting fire.